Sort your cells by title, libraries import, variable definitions, and functions. Then the initializing statements, where we save them into variables called GC and analytics. And lastly, our tests. Now run them all. We are getting a name error. It says that scopes is not defined and we cannot initialize the analytics reporting. Scroll up and see that I changed the variable name of scopes. Thus, we also need to change the variable in the function. Run this cell again, as well as the initialize analytics reporting cell. Run the other cells to see if they all work. All good. To keep the output short, I'm only showing the first 9 rows of the clean extracted data details output. Let's create a loop function that can go through multiple weeks and add them to a pandas data frame, which we can then upload to a Google spreadsheet. Start by copy-pasting the top of another function into a new cell. Change the name and description of this function and use 3 parameters: a connection, previous data, and the start date. The connection is our connection to the Google Drive. Previous data is data that may have been on our Google spreadsheet previously, or it may be none. And the starting date is the date we need to query data from Google Analytics. We already have defined our connection to Google Drive, but we have not yet written a function to download any data we have from previous run. Thus, let's write a function to download older data. We could also just run our weekly loops over the whole time frame each week. But after 3 years, you have to loop over 150 weeks. But if you just download the latest data, you are a lot faster. Another way is to find the last week in our Google spreadsheet and then add new data in the right cell. This is possible and more elegant, probably. There is always more than one way to achieve an outcome. Let's write a function to collect the previous data from the Google spreadsheet, if any. This new function downloads the data from a Google spreadsheet into a pandas data frame. We can copy-paste any kind of description of a function and then amend the name and description. In this function, only one parameter is needed, which is the worksheet name. This function uses a try except statement, where the function tries to download a spreadsheet except if there is no existing worksheet. In the try section, the function downloads the worksheet from the spreadsheet defined. The call name and row name need to be set to true in order to set the first column as index, which are our metrics names, and the first row as column headers, which are our ISO years and weeks in the pandas data frame. We also need to know from what week the last data is from. The last start date is given by taking the last column header and split it up to then take the year and week and use our getWeekdays function to get our start date. Then, this section returns the previous data's pandas data frame and the last start date. The except part looks for a runtime error, which we will get if there is no data in the worksheet yet. Thus, it will return a none as previous data and a defined start date by you. So define your first start date here.